also started a little while ago a new video podcast called The .NET Show, which is at thenetshow.com. And I'm really focused on Maui right now. The last 2 episodes have been focused on Maui. Most of them have. And I'll give you some tips from those last 2 episodes. Episode 19 was called Maui on the Mac, or Maui on Mac. And I struggled for the longest time, even with Xamarin Forms, because I do have a Mac, but I don't use it all the time, and I really just bought it to be a Xamarin build server. But, then there's the care and maintenance of the Mac itself. So what I did was I got a subscription to Mac in Cloud, and I show this in the .NET Show episode 19. And Mac in Cloud is a VM where you have to go with the full version, so you get admin access. But the workaround that I got, because Visual Studio is finicky, let's say, about being able to use the emulator on the Mac in Visual Studio. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. There's just no better way to say that. So the workaround is you have your code in a repo. Now it can be a private repo, a GitHub repo, whatever. And you use a token to be able to access that from another machine. And I go to the Mac, and I just drop to, when I want to build and run the current version on a Mac of a Maui app, there's just a couple commands. So you drop to get the latest version from the GitHub repo and then build it and run it. So that way I can work in Windows on Maui or Android or whatever works easiest. And then when I want to test it on an iPhone or Mac, even a Mac desktop, I can go to that Mac in Cloud, run one command at the command line, and boom, it just loads up and runs. Now, of course, you could have Visual Studio for Mac out there and do all your development on the Mac side if you want, but having it in a repo where you can push changes and then check it on either platform. It's a really, really good tip. So the other episode 20, is Maui animation. And so you might not know this, but built into every visual element, buttons, images, whatever you can see in the controls in Maui on all the platforms, have these animation methods where you can do fading and moving the X and Y, moving to a different place, scaling, rotating, and you can even do composite animations that have more than one animation that run at once. For example, I show how to take the little bot image and scale it up and down and rotate it at the same time. So, but that's not the tip. The tip is in doing this app, I'm demoing it in Windows Maui version. And in doing that, I couldn't figure out how to make it run full screen. So there's a little hack that I found in the Maui repo, Microsoft repo, where somebody was having this problem. And there's a workaround there using pragma statements, if Windows then, and then do some Windows interop, and then, it works. And it works, but it's not the best solution. I imagine that there might be more specific Windows things coming in the future, but it's a good solution. And then my app runs full screen, and I can work with it the way that I want to. I don't have to maximize it every time I run it. So that's my tip. Thanks, NDC.